Hey Ashley, we're here. Hey Ashley, we're here with workout number 4, and we're going to be using the TRX bands today. So we're going to be doing something new, and I hope you enjoy it. So for the warm-up, we're going to be doing 2 rounds. Everything is 10 reps each. So you're going to start with squat jumps. So it's going to be similar to when you're doing your squat jumps without the bands, landing softly into your knees, but you may actually find that it's a little bit easier using that anchor to help ground you. So make sure your arms are about 90 degrees. They don't need to be straight by any means. You want your bands to be long. You're going to sit back in your heels, which is the nice thing about TRX. It really allows you to sit back, and you're just going to explode up. Exhaling as you explode up, inhaling as you drop back down, making sure you land softly in your knees. Next, we're going to come into a bicep curl. So you're going to have your arms pretty high and in line with your shoulders, so they're not going to be too wide or too close. The great thing about TRX is that you determine your intensity. So the closer that your feet are to the anchor, the easier it will be. The further your feet are from the anchor, the easier it will be because you're not as deep. The closer your feet are and the deeper you get, the harder it's going to be. So when you're performing your bicep curl, you still want your core tight, and you're hinging at the elbow. So people often make the mistake of pulling in almost from the shoulders and squeezing their shoulder blades, but that's more of a row. So make sure the only thing that's moving is in your elbow joint. So I'll do a couple more of those real quick for you. Slight bend of the knees, everything tight, shoulders low. Next, you're going to come into 10 tricep extensions. So you're going to face away from the anchor. Again, you can determine how deep or how shallow you go. You want your hands to be high and extended out a little more than shoulder height, I guess you could say. You're going to hinge at the elbow just like you did with the bicep curl and push off. So remember, you don't want your hands too close or too far, just in a nice neutral position. Your whole body drops down, and then you push off using your triceps, and you're only hinging at the elbow just like before. Then you're going to come into your rows. So we are going to focus on the back. So you're just going to drop back and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Keeping your shoulders low, you don't want them traveling up to your ears. That means you're compensating. If that is the case and you find it too difficult, just take a step back. And you don't have to go quite so deep as I was going if that's not comfortable for you yet. Next, we're going to come into 10 chest press. So you're going to face away from the anchor. And essentially the move is like a push-up, except you're using your suspension training. So you're going to have to focus a bit more on the balance and engagement of your core. You want your arms to be high. If they're too low, if you can see, and I try to perform the chest press, the bands start to rub against my arms. But if you keep them a bit higher and perform the same move, they totally miss your arms, and you don't have to worry about getting any, abrasions or just annoyances. So just inhale as you go down, exhale as you come back up, and your depth determines your intensity. Next, we're just going to come into squats. So you don't want to use your arms to muscle up. So in order to keep you honest, you want to have a slight bend of the arm and really try to focus the work into your legs. So sit back, the best thing about the TRX, it'll help support you, and then just come straight up, squeezing the glutes as you come up. And especially when you finish, you want them real tight. So you'll perform 10 of those. And then the last thing we'll do is a warrior 3 leg extension. So I'm actually going to come right underneath the anchor, and I'm going to have a slight bend of my standing leg, and my arms are going to move out to the side in order to help support. So just coming right here, I'll do it on the opposite leg so you can see. And you're just coming into full extension. Try to keep your hips square like we've done before. And be mindful of using the hamstrings for that. And again, your head is going to be pretty much right underneath that anchor, arms out in order to support. So that's going to be your warm-up. Your first circuit is going to be 5-minute AMRAP. So you'll have 10 underhand rows. So it'll be similar to the rows we just did. Your hand position will just be different. So you'll be holding underhand, but you'll still squeeze the shoulder blades together, keeping the keeping the shoulders low and away from your ears. Then you're going to come into 12 bicep curls, the same ones that we did during our warm-up, just hinging at the elbows and keeping your arms high. Then you're gonna have 20 tricep pulses. So you're not gonna have a full range of motion. You're gonna come away from the anchor and you're just gonna have really small pulses, holding that tension the entire time. Remember, you wanna keep the elbows in. So if they start winging out, then maybe change your depth. Try not to go as deep and really internally rotate in the arms and then do your pulses, okay? You wanna make sure that all of this stays in line. And then the last thing for your AMRAP is 20 chest presses with alternating front punches. So we're gonna come into our chest press, arms high. We'll drop down. As you push up, you're gonna punch out with one arm and just alternate every time. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So that'll get a little bit in your shoulders as well as your chest. So our WOD, you're gonna do this for about 10 to 12 minutes. So that could be 2 or 3 rounds, I'd say. The first thing we're gonna do is you're gonna have 10 full range of motion squats into 20 squat pulses. So without any rest in between, keep that bend of the elbow, sit the heels back, toes are straight, 10 squats, and then without any rest, you'll just drop down, hold that tension, find that point, that nice sweet spot, and just pulse for 20. Your second exercise will be 10 wide rows. So rather than pulling the elbows straight back like we were doing with a standard row, you're just gonna open up and you're gonna make it wide, which is just gonna get really nicely into your rhomboids and a bit of your upper traps as well. Next, you're gonna come into static jump lunges. So you want to have your arms at about 90 degrees. The TRX band will be able to help you with your balance and with the stabilization aspect of this. You're gonna drop into a lunge and you're gonna hold this position and make sure you're not on a slippery surface. And you're just gonna jump, small jumps. So you wanna hold that lunge and you'll perform the full set before you go to the other side. Make sure that your ankle stays, or your knee stays in line with your ankle. You don't wanna be too far forward or even too far back. So you're just moving straight up and down. Whew. Then we're gonna get into chest press with a rollout. So you come into your chest press, the only difference is, as you push off, you're gonna roll out. So come back in, push up, or chest press, and roll out. So that rollout is gonna get more into your core, especially the deeper you get. So you really wanna make sure you have that core engaged. You really wanna make sure that your back is flat. So you may have to tuck the hips under and really tighten in your lower abs for that. Then you're gonna come into kneeling tricep press with a rollout. So you are going to get on the floor. Make sure your bands are long. And you're just gonna tricep press and roll out. Roll out, come back in, and tricep press. Roll out, come back in, tricep press. Really making sure that everything stays really tight. Next, we only have 3 more to go. You're gonna come into bridges, but you're gonna have your hands in the handle. So what you're gonna do here, you're gonna find yourself in a tabletop, so trust the TRX bands, and you're just gonna drop your hips down and squeeze up, just as if you were coming into a bridge on the ground. The only difference is you have those handles to hold you so that you don't fall. So that one's pretty simple. Then we're gonna come into power pulls. So you'll have 10 on each side. So the power pull is gonna get into your back. I find that holding the handles for this is a lot easier because you want both of them in your hands, both straps in your hands. You're gonna bend your knee so that you come down and pull yourself forward. So come down and pull yourself forward. If that is too much, too deep, a little bit too difficult, you don't have to drop all the way back. Just come back slightly and then row, keeping your arm really close to your body and keeping the shoulders low. And then finally, you're gonna come into sit-ups. So you're gonna raise it a little bit. You don't want it too short or too long. You're gonna come onto the floor and you want your bum to be a bit closer to the anchor so that you have range of motion to go back. If you're too far back, as you can see, I can't go very far. So keep yourself close. You're gonna come down, and then you could use your arms to help sit you up. So even though you're using your arms, make sure you are getting work in that core. And the nice thing with that one is, you're also getting some work in your back and in your shoulders. So that is actually gonna be your workout. For your cool down, you're gonna come into some good morning. So you're just gonna come all the way back, sit the hips back, and really just let the TRX bands pull your arms forward, and you should feel a nice lengthening in your lower back and maybe even a bit of your hamstring. Then you're gonna come into a chest and shoulder opener. So you just wanna hold right here. Make sure that your bands are holding the tension the entire time, and you should feel that opening. It should feel really delicious. And then finally, a shoulder stretch. So you want to bring the arm, just as if you were going to do a shoulder stretch without the bands, you want to bring the arm across your body, holding onto the straps, and kind of lean away from it, keeping the shoulder low so you don't want it riding too high. And again, you should feel that lengthening in the shoulder and in your deltoids, and it should feel really nice. So that is your workout, your fourth one, week 1 down. I can't wait to keep working with you, and have a great day.